Welcome back, everybody. Teams of 518 League, which I guess will relatively shortly be called Team of the 919 League, with over half the league here living in North Carolina now. Apologize for the background here, like much of your guys' season. It's a little dark and gloomy in here. Um, Got the old trusty list right here through a little bit of research, and when I say a little bit of research, I mean looking at your teams for about a minute. Every year I say I'm going to do this relatively shortly, and it never happens. So this year I'm just going to say I judged your teams. We're going to go through them together, and handy dandy cell phone here so we can go through that because there's no way I can remember all of your teams. Talked with Nicole to see maybe which order we should go into because I'm pretty sure she's the only one that might actually look at this list with us or watch this list rather. And we decided that we should go worst to first this year, which I think we normally do it the other way around. But that being said, let me get this all pulled up so we can get that started. And like last year, we're going to start with worst. Tyler, if you auto draft in my league, I'm putting you as the worst team overall. Again, said it once, said it before, and I'll say it 1,000 more times. If you auto draft, you immediately have the worst team, in my opinion. And it actually just so happens that this year I do think you have the worst team. You have no running back worth a name. Miles Sanders. Why Miles Sanders was rated as like the fourth best running back in this draft is beyond me. And then you got a rookie, Taylor from Indianapolis. You got Michael Thomas, which is your only good player. And then, like I said, auto drafted DJ Moore. Have fun with that all year. Tyler Lockett. You got a good tight end. I'll give you that. Your bench is trash. Kerryon Johnson is another running back that you have on your bench who might see 10 touches with Adrian Peterson taking over his role this year. We won't spend much time on last place. Maybe next year, for the first year after being in it for 3 years, you could draft your own team. We'll be proud of you. Tyler, if you don't know me, I'm being very sarcastic. Hopefully you get in the chat involved a little bit more this year. We go to 9, and the only thing I'll give the team number 9 is they've had the same team forever, regardless if they actually drafted the player that their team name is based off of. But it just so happens that he did get Zach Ertz this year. So coming in at number 9 on my list, we're going to go to Team My Balls, Zach Ertz. Still a great team name, going on 4 years strong now. And just to pause for a moment, 7 seasons this league's been going on, and I know we've had some fill-ins lately, but originally, I think based off of the core is pretty much still there. I think the same 6 of us been going for 7 years strong, and anyone that's been added in has been awesome as well. And actually being active, group chat, we've had trades every year, so just wanted to bring that up. But to kind of go over number 19, John. First of all, props to you for doing this while you were at work, so I guess I should cut you a break. But I didn't put you last, so you got that for you. You got Pat Mahomes. You are notorious for always taking a quarterback way too early. I guess if you're going to take one, he's the one to take. And Kamara was a great pick for you. And then it went downhill quickly after that. David Montgomery, who won't even play probably the first 3 weeks, not to mention when he does play, that team's atrocious. Mitch Trubisky is just garbage all over the place. You took Mike Evans, who wasn't even the best wide receiver for Tampa. Not to mention that they downgraded at quarterback. Tom Brady's not going to be slinging it as much as Jameis Winston was, so he's not going to be putting up the points that you think he is. And Dustin, we'll get to you in a hot second on that. And trust me, I'm wearing Juju's jersey right now. I love the man, but that is a terrible pick. The Steelers have 3 wide receivers all in the same skill level. To think that one's going to emerge as a number 1, like I said, took him way too early in my opinion. And then it goes downhill. DK Metcalf, who is the 3rd best wide receiver maybe, with them signing Josh Gordon again. Lockett's ahead of him, and he's just too big to get out of his own way. I get it, a couple touchdowns here and there, but he needs to move the tight end. He's certainly not going to be a number 1 wide receiver. I never really pay attention much to the defenses, but to take the Colts defense, garbage. Your bench, in short, garbage. Mark Ingram, who won't even be a starting running back after week 3. Brandon Cooks, no. Boy, and then it's backup running backs, backup tight ends, and wide receivers that won't play. And hilarious to me that you took Carson Wentz as your last pick. Got to be that hometown Philly guy. But one thing I am proud of you, you took only 2 Eagles players, which is about 7 less than you normally do. So I'm proud of you there. And speaking of a team that takes hometown heroes, we're going to go to number 8 and we're going to look at my dad. I'm not even pulling up his team because all you got to do is pick up the Steelers depth chart and you'll see his team there. Sadly, he's still put together a better team than 3 of you. I'm sorry, 2 of you. And he'll probably finish better than 8th because he's so well at watching the waiver wire and making great additions throughout the year. And Ben Roethlisberger is going to be a great quarterback. Let's not forget about that. But I like Nick Chubb. You didn't use your first round to take a Steeler player, so I'm proud of you there. Actually, didn't use your second round to do that either. You took Julio Jones, which not a lot of people are high on. Not exactly sure why. He's still a top 5 wide receiver, if you ask me. Either way, I like the way that team's set up for you. As far as that goes. But then your bench goes south quick, and again, Steeler dependent. So when they have a bad season or Ben goes down again, you're pretty much kissing your fantasy season goodbye. From there, we'll go to number 7, which I'm gonna pull up here. All right, no surprise here. He didn't finish last year, but he's always around that area. And we're gonna go to Maximum Daximum, which hopefully you can explain the team name to me one time because I don't get it. I don't see anybody with a Max or Dax on your team. So if you could have a name that makes sense, that'd be appreciated. Same thing. You started off terrible, to be 100% honest with you. You took Josh Jacobs, all right, and then immediately went David Johnson. And trust me, as a guy who took David Johnson in the first round last year, I can tell you that's a mistake. Gets traded around, gets traded nowhere near what the season that they were expecting him to last year. I don't know. I don't know where your head was at. I was right there with you watching your draft. You seemed confident. You really shouldn't be. You really shouldn't be. But you're open to it. You do say that you've never won this league and never come close, and you're consistent because you won't be there again this year. Quarterback is about the only thing that I'm liking on your team. That's Russell Wilson. You have Amari Cooper, who wasn't even on the field when it was important last year, so I don't know how you think he's going to be important for your fantasy team. And then your second best wide receiver is Will Fuller, who has yet to put together 4 games in a row without being hurt. So I'm just curious, where your head was at there. You did have a good sleeper, in my opinion, that you drafted way too early, thus making it not a sleeper. It makes you an idiot if he doesn't pan out, and that's J.K. Dobbins. You could have got him about 3 rounds later than you did. But again, I think that's a player that'll pan out, so it'll end up not looking too bad for you. Again, I think some people get confused with this league, even though I send out the settings and scoring every year, and it's not a 2-quarterback league, so why you took Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. I think that's wasting up a pick, in my opinion, because I think you're going to start Russell Wilson every game. And then you got Swift from Detroit, who's unproven, and they got Adrian Peterson. It's just a hectic backfield there that I don't want any part of. Stephon Diggs, that's garbage because Allen's not throwing anything less than an 80-yard pass and interceptions because that's the only 2 things he can do. Mike Williams, who again hurt for the first month of the year, and then Broncos defense as a backup. That was a solid pick as well. And Jarwin from Dallas, who me and you watched that workout video together. Anybody who wants to see it and see how much of a joke that is, be happy to send that to you. Chris, one year you're going to put together a good draft, and I'm going to be proud of you. It's just not this year, of course. So moving on, we'll go to number 6. And I was very surprised by this because normally I have you up there pretty high in the rankings, and we go to the Brady Bunch, which, you know what? Power move, Dustin. Power move for labeling your team before you even drafted and still getting the players that you set out to. Most important one being Tom Brady, of course, which, although power move, to choose the player that you said you're going to, he would have been undrafted, so it wasn't that big of a power move. Nobody was taking Tom Brady because he's 45 years old and can throw the ball 5 yards. Don't like that pick. Barkley fell to you at number 3, which was very surprising to me. Couldn't tell you who drafted number 2 to jack that up for you. Singletary, Buffalo running back, garbage. Godwin, like I said, Tom Brady. I get it, the Brady bunch. That connection is not, again, Winston's not there. That's not going to be slinging the ball around everywhere. So garbage. Kenny Galladay. I know we like to think that Detroit's going to have a semi-good season, but the only reason why that pick pans out, and even the slightest, is that Detroit's down 30 points in every game, so they have to throw the ball around. So that might pan out well for you. Mark Andrews from Baltimore. Baltimore's going to have a garbage year this year. Mark my words. Steelers taking that division. Um, and then we go to your bench. And you think that Edelman's going to be a monster, which good luck with that. Cam Newton's not Tom Brady, and I don't think they're going to be doing the 3 yard dump offs to him like they were beforehand. It's going to be Cam Newton calling his own number a lot. And then you went hometown, for yourself. Philip Lindsay, garbage. Jerry Jeudy, okay, but took him way too early. And then the rest of your team, Larry Fitzgerald, nope. Henry Ruggs, nope. N'Keal Harry, nope. Like I'm not a fan of your team for once, Dustin, and I was a little disappointed because normally I take a look at your team and I'm like, well, how did he get that? And this year I'm just like, stay away from that. And it's sad because when I looked at some of these teams, I originally thought that's going to be a bottom 5 team in the league, but some of you are just so well at surprising me and drafting such terrible teams that I have to bump teams that I don't even like up further. And with that, that brings me to team number 5, who I originally looked at. There was 5 of us drafting in the same room together, and I hated this team. And he cracks the top 5. It's insane to me, but it's where we're at. So we'll go there, I suppose, and that's going to be Pat. You went ahead. I took a look at that team. Dak Prescott was, a good quarterback, I guess, contract year to think of it. Dalvin Cook, who knows if he's even going to play. That's just a weird situation that I'm not burning a first round on. Aaron Jones, garbage. I hate Green Bay's offense. You never know what it's going to do. You never know if he's even going to get any touches in the game. Not to mention, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to try and prove himself. He's not letting anybody run the ball. He's going to be throwing that ball 80 times a game. Odell Beckham, garbage year last year. Trust me, I drafted him. I know. I don't see any reason to see that there'd be a change there. I think Jarvis Landry's the clear number 1. So that's what I'm going to stick with there. And then Allen Robinson. I talked about Mitch Trubisky, the one throwing the ball. That offense is garbage. I don't care if Nick Foles comes in or not. That offense is still garbage. That's not going anywhere. Joe Mixon, not a big fan of him. I get it. Joe Burrows is in there, and everyone thinks that the Bengals season is going to be saved, but it's not going to happen that way, and that offense is still going to be trash, and Joe Mixon's still going to have nowhere to run, so I'll stick with that. And then again, your bench. AJ Green on your bench, I did like that. I think that's actually what kind of pushed you above. McLaurin from Washington, that was a hometown pick. I do like him. But that's about the only reason I can put you in the top 5. And, you can thank everybody else for drafting so terrible. But that's what cracked you in the top 5. And then from here, we kind of go to our last 4. And, I'm pretty happy with the top 4 here. They did me proud. And number 4 being the defending champ last year. And I'm prepared to make number 4 go up a little bit higher. And hopefully this year I can do some, in between analysts of your teams. But defending champ Ryan, Pine Street Payne, another guy who's had the same name since he came into the league. So props to you there. You went with my philosophy where you can get a quarterback wherever. I'm not reaching for one, and you got Matt Ryan. Again, a quarterback that's going to put up same amount of points as any other quarterback, especially some of the ones that you guys drafted 3 rounds into this thing. So I like that there. Zeke Elliott to you. That's a fine pick. Obviously, Todd Gurley. Now, that is something that I was 50-50 on, so I'm not going to bash you for taking him. I could see that working out, and I could see that looking terrible. But Todd Gurley has been such a hit or miss as far as fantasy goes that I'm not going to blame anybody for taking him. And this is what really happens for me is DeAndre Hopkins. Everybody knows I'm high on the Cardinals this year. They're actually my Super Bowl prediction. As odd as that sounds, I really like that team. But I don't know how they're going to spread the ball out to everybody they have on that team. Got a good running back in the backfield. You got DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk. That team has the ability to spread the ball around quite a bit, so that's what makes me weary in seeing how that can really work as DeAndre being a true number 1. Adam Thielen I really like. Diggs is out of the equation there, so there's really no one challenging him for that number 1 spot overall. But then it goes T.Y. Hilton, and I don't see Phillip Rivers and T.Y. having that great connection that they used to. I hate Waller at tight end. He had like 2 good games last year before he disappeared off the face of the earth. Probably going to be something similar like that again for you. And then, again, your bench. Nobody really put together a strong bench, myself included. But Hollywood Browns on your bench. Like I said, I don't see Baltimore having as strong as the year they did. Leonard Fournette, who I said there's 9 running backs in Tampa's backfield. I don't know how you're going to go with Fournette. Not to mention, this is a PPR league, as I tell you, every year that you draft Fournette, and every year it goes terrible for you. I just don't see him taking it well. I don't see him getting that many touches. Tom Brady's going to be throwing the ball like crazy because he can only throw it 3 yards and he doesn't trust running game. He's trying to spit in Bill Belichick's face. With that being said, what I like to think is Leonard Fournette can run for a touchdown, get 6 points, and that's about all he's going to do for the game. So the rest of it, I like the Devontae Freeman pickup. I made Nicole pick him up in her other league because, of course, I got to run Nicole's league and everything that she does. Like I said, we'll stay there for you. Top 4, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. I just, like I said, bench and Fournette. I hate the rest of your team's all right. Find a replacement, find a waiver pickup to replace T.Y. Hilton, and you're in good shape. Which brings us number 3. And one thing I hate is I feel like I have to put you up there because I know you're taking my draft advice and I help you with a draft before we even draft ours, which really helps you put together a solid team when it gets to ours. And that's my sister, who's stealing the show. I don't know how long you've had that name. Maybe you've had it a while. I don't really remember. Maybe if you ever have fantasy relevance, we can actually take note of your name. But we'll take a look there. We took Lamar Jackson, which, if you're going to get a quarterback, I guess Lamar Jackson's a good one to have. I just don't see them having, like I said, he's not going to have the year he had last year. But again, it's those scrambling quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks that, rush more than their running backs. They're going to add points, obviously, and a couple touchdown runs there. It'll benefit you. I'm not crazy about it, but you got a top five quarterback, top 5 running back, and a top 5 wide receiver, in my opinion. So we see Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones. Like I said, I like that. That is a good foundation there. Let's not forget that I let you have James Conner because you kept crying about it if I was going to take him. So you're welcome. Cooper Kupp. I've had Cooper Kupp on my team the last 3 years. I like that. Keenan Allen. He doesn't have Phillip Rivers there. I'm not crazy about that pick. But you built up your bench well. Tyler Boyd, who has been a fantasy stud. Tariq Cohen, who David Montgomery's out right now, so he's going to be a starting running back for you. Jamison Crowder, who's the number 1 wide receiver and only wide receiver that I know for the Jets. Marlon Mack, who he's going to be fighting for a starting position, had a great year last year. I don't have any reason to go against him. And like I said, from there, you got a solid bench. You have plug and play. One injury, your season won't be over, much like I think other players will be over. And I'm sorry that we're 18 minutes into this, and I just now have to go back. I thought my dad got Julio Jones. He got Devontae Adams. So quick change there. Devontae Adams still in that top 5 wide receiver, so I still keep my dad where he is. That's what I get for not opening his team and talking about it. Let's go to number 2, and it feels like every year I'm at number 2 because I don't want to get too cocky and put myself number 1, it feels. But no, number 2, I'm going with myself. Actually, very much like my team this year, and the reason why I didn't go number 1 is I went with a rookie running back with my first pick, and that could come back and bite me, but I really like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that is going to be a monster year for him. I have him in every one of my leagues. I said if I had the first overall pick, it was who I was taking, so he fell to me at 5. I was very happy with that. I think that's a top 3 running back this year. I don't think McCaffrey has the year that he had, before with Cam Newton leaving and such, and I think they actually have more pieces in that offense that they can maybe help out and try and spread the ball out. But rambling on there, I think he's going to be a top 3 running back. Kenny Drake fell to me. I'm not crazy on that. I wish I had better running backs, I will be honest. But the fact that he fell to me in the 3rd round, I'm taking that. And like I said, I'm high on the Cardinals this year. I think that they have a lot of firepower this year, much like Ryan. I think DeAndre Hopkins could still be that top performer. I think Drake could get his, much like the Chiefs, where I think that there's going to be more than one fantasy stud on that team. Speaking of the Chiefs, Travis Kelce on my team, so you take a look there. I got a top 5 quarterback in Deshaun Watson. I got a top 3 running back in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And then I got the best tight end in the league. And then it's plug and play from there. Jarvis Landry's been a fantasy monster. A.J. Brown from Tennessee emerged heavily as a monster last year. So I'm all about that. And something sneaky. And, maybe one year it will bite me. But I've not given up on Le'Veon Bell yet. I think that he still has potential. And as I talked about with Shane a little bit today, I think Le'Veon's going to get traded to a team that's going to use and abuse him. They paying him big money. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm running the ball with him nonstop. He's going to get 30 touches a game wherever he ends up. Even if he stays with the Jets, they're going to end up using him like you wouldn't believe. I don't think that the backup running backs that they signed, Frank Gore, is going to say anything except for we got a player if he gets hurt because we're going to use him a lot. And one thing I'm obsessed with is my bench, which has no running backs on it, but the wide receivers, Deebo Samuel fell to me, had to snag him up. Deontay Johnson, he's going to get his first year with Ben this year. I already went over how they have 3 wide receivers that could put up steady numbers. That's a plug and play. Christian Kirk, who went crazy last year in Arizona. I went over Arizona's offense already, real high on them, high power. CeeDee Lamb, rookie wide receiver, getting drafted to Dallas. I think he's going to push Cooper right out, at least Gallup if to emerge as that second wide receiver. Cooper's always hurt, so like I said, I really like that pick as well. Cam Newton in one of the last rounds for me, and then my favorite sneaky pick for me is a player that's suspended 8 weeks, but when I'm in the playoffs and he's starting, with some playoff contending team making that huge difference, Antonio Brown's going to push me over the edge, win me the championship this year. So I just wanted to point that out. So, of course, I'm number 2. Can't give myself number 1. And I'll give number 1 to a guy that didn't even get to draft his own team last year and came in and he got to make a real difference this year. And I say real difference in the sense of drafting his own team and a damn good one at that. And we're going to go to Shane Brown, which I don't even know if you changed your name yet. And I'm thinking you did because I haven't found you. Nope, you haven't. You still have the old team name in there, which I won't even read. Tom never checked it. You're already off to a better start than he did by drafting your own team rather than auto-drafting it. And we take a look. I got you number 1, buddy. Christian McCaffrey, which with the first overall pick is a no-brainer. Do I think he does what he did last year? No. Is he still a stud running back? Yes. Then you turn it around well. And Austin Eckler, who had to compete against touches with Melvin Gordon last year, still putting up ridiculous numbers, now has no competition for him, and you snag him up. I mean, you got a great 2 running back system right there. That is going to put up mad points for you. And then you turn that around and get Tyreek Hill, who has been a PPR monster. And with his speed, like I said, I really like that pick. Calvin Ridley, not my favorite pick. I'm not big on that pick. I think Julio Jones is really the clear-cut number 1 there. But nonetheless, he puts up points and he's going to be steady for you. I'm not a big fan of Hunter Henry at tight end. But that's whatever. Like I said, I'm really high on running backs, and you're kind of owning that right now. Chris Carson, who's not spectacular by any means, but you got 3 running backs that are absolute studs, and nobody else has that in this league. And you're really going to take over in that department, if you ask me, because running backs are what used to be a dime a dozen. There's a lot of split carries and a lot of that going on. So I think that's going to go over well for you there. And then your bench, Michael Gallup, which I know I took rookie wide receiver from Dallas, and then I said I would push Gallup out, but still decent. He still puts up points. You took Gibson, Washington running back. Peterson being cut, he's going to be the clear-cut number 1 guy, so you have another running back there. Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate. I'm not sure if you meant to do it, but actually what I did in a similar situation is I actually took both guys as well because I don't know who's going to be the more fantasy productive guy between those 2. So I don't know if you took those 2 on purpose, but I've done that before because I don't know who's going to emerge as the number 1. So I actually like that. Gives you the ability to cut whoever is the underperformer, or when you get that clear cut number 1, gives you that option. And we don't talk much about defenses, but like I said, I gave myself Steelers defense. You took the Ravens defense. I'm happy with both of those. It's just something that, kind of gives you those extra points, settle a tiebreaker. One of the things that I'm most in question about your team, I'd have to go Allen as your quarterback. I was hoping to see maybe something different on your bench where he went out. Uh, like I said, Allen is either an 80-yard touchdown pass or an interception. So I don't know. You lock up a quarterback. Go add one right now. I don't care. It could probably be anybody. And get Sam Darnold for all I care. I think it'd be better than that. But that's what I'm going to kind of wrap that up at. Shane, I love your team, which sounded, me being critical of it, but that's just because I expect so much out of you and I love you. So we'll see that number one. Like I said, about halfway through the year, I'll probably do one of these again, and it'll be completely different. And I'll laugh when my dad has the best overall team. But for that being said, thank you guys again for joining the league. It's been 7 years strong now. Like I said, I can't get over that. That is awesome. And like I said, hopefully this goes on for a lot longer. And somebody, please feel free to do your own rankings here. I don't care if it's way shorter than mine. I spend way too much time doing this for you. But that being said, I got a chicken being smoked right now, and I got to go take that out along with some smoked mac and cheese, and I'm all about that.